All right, this is not what I wanted. Can you guys hear me? Oh my gosh. I don't know why it does this. This orientation thing gets me so god dang mad. I don't I'm about ready to just give up on it. I changed the orientation and then it keeps stopping the stream trying to get the orientation horizontal. Why does it want to do this freaking vertical thing? I change it and it won't let me do it. Oh man. All right. So after a rough start, I guess there's not too many people here yet. So we'll let you guys filter in. Oh man, that makes me so mad. I kept going horizontal, horizontal. It just said, nope, we're going to do vertical no matter what you choose. I guess when you set up the stream, you have to set it as horizontal, the orientation. I really, really hate vertical screen. Oh, hello, John Buckley. Billy Joe was talking to you guys. Viola. Yeah, no landscape mode today, Viola. Oh my gosh. Why does it do this? Oh, personally, I can't stand vertical screen because I'm old and watch stuff on a TV. Yeah, it's been a while. I think it was about a year ago I did one, and that was the first one. I had everything lined up, my camera, tripod, everything set up for horizontal. Oh man. Oh, technology. What a fun time. So, oh, the dogs hear me getting mad. So they're going to come see. Come here. Come here. Oh, it's all right. Daddy's just mad at the thing. Not little doggies. Not little doggies. So, I have, while these things get going, these things take a while to get going. Please don't step on my laptop, the other dog. So, while these things get going, man, this is crooked. This, oh, I set this thing up. I spent half the morning setting this thing up. And then I hit go live, and it says, change orientation. Used to, if you turned your phone this way, it went that way. If you turned your phone this way, it went that way. Why is it so picky now? I don't understand. So, I have something I need to do to this tank. And I thought, well, people filter in, and while this is going on in the background, I could do that. But just, you want to ask questions, if you want to talk about shrimp, if you want to do whatever. But really, I would appreciate if I get some feedback on what do you guys want to see in the future of this channel. Because, I feel like I've been doing the same video over and over and over. Mix it up a little bit. You want me to keep doing what I'm doing? I mean, what do you guys want to see? What do you guys want to see? All right, so these sponge filters in this great big 75-gallon tank with probably 500 guppies in it. Who knows how many plecos, the Crypt Garden guppy tank, and I'm sure you guys can't see it, but there's hundreds of little shrimpies in here everywhere. So, we already got this all hooked up to do a water change. So what I want to do is there's 3 separate sponges on this DIY filter. And as the water gets lower, it gets below the first sponge, we'll take that first sponge out, clean it out. Gets below the second sponge, clean it out, gets all the way down to about the pump. We'll take off that third sponge and clean it out, slap it all in there. So, water change. This will get it down about halfway. I already got the extension cord and everything. I had everything prepared. I tried to do everything the way I'm supposed to do it. And Let's see here. Oh, we got some comments. So here's our kitty. Shrimp feeding videos. Love to see them all gathered up. Yeah, that's my favorite part of keeping shrimp, watching them all gather up. Horrible at giving advice on stuff, but like watching whatever you put on. Thank you, Viola. Viola's been here since the very, very beginning. When I was talking to like 30 people. See which one the shrimp. Put it in different veggies to see which one the shrimp like the best. Yeah, that's a good idea. So now we got, this tank just got like a 50% water change, but I keep putting off these filters, So we're going to get that. How do I feed my fish? The food I have on my website. I sell it as shrimp food, but actually it's just super high protein powdered food. And it's the same stuff I feed. Like when I make a batch, I sell it on the website. I keep like 20% of it for myself and sell the rest of it on the website. So it's the exact same stuff. It's just really high protein powdered food. And it's good for, I've had lots of people tell me that some fish fry they've been struggling with raising. They've been using that food. I think it was golden killifish, maybe. Someone told me they had issues with getting fry to live. And then they got some of that food, some of my food. So all my tanks get the same, whether it's fish or I don't have any big fish. I have a 90% shrimp tanks. Then I have a couple guppy tanks, and those tanks have shrimp in them. I love that my blue jellies are jet black. I've never had a jelly through a black shrimp. That's really weird. Did you have them mixed up with something else? I've never seen a black shrimp come out of a jelly. That's interesting. So would you say crushed fish food is better than Plucko veggie stuff? I feed both. Now, the daily staple food is the crushed flakes, but then I like to use Hikari algae wafers. There with your reds. Are your reds reds? I bet your reds are Bloody Marys. If you're getting black shrimp. That would be my suspicion. Hey, small time tanks. Yeah, that's why. They're not reds, they're Bloody Marys. Now, some people think Bloody Marys, people tell you Bloody Marys are different. Or just the same thing as reds, just different grades, but Bloody Marys are completely different. They have completely different genetics. They're not reds, they're Bloody Marys. So that's why you got black shrimp. Yes, my Molly Fry went crazy over it this morning. I just got my first order of shrimp food. Yes, awesome. Yeah, I remember your order. Now, I'm thinking about having to do something with the shipping on that. Free shipping that I do. The mail used to take like 4 days, maybe a week. And now there's people that take like 6 weeks sometimes for it to show up. I think most people get it within 10 days still, but USPS is a complete nightmare. Would like to see tiger shrimps. That can go with me as well. You probably ain't going to see it here because neither shrimp is going to be in ideal conditions. They have different. I know there's a lot of people that say you can keep tiger shrimp with Caridina or Caridina tigers with Neos, but it's really not something you should. I want ideal for the shrimp I'm keeping, especially with Caridina. Now, Neos, they can adjust about anything. I think Neos would probably do good just about any Caridina tank. Now, they wouldn't do as good as they would in hard water. You have Discord or email, would like to show you the black offspring. You can reach out to me through my website. I have the email contact form on there, and I'll get that, and it goes right to my email. You can do that. Hey, Mark Shelley Live. I think this is the third stream I've done in 4 years. I did when I launched my website. I think that was in January of 21. Did a live stream, and I did one about a year ago, not quite a year ago, and now we're doing this one. I had orange-eyed tigers with Neos, and they slowly faded out. I think Neos are just, yeah, the Neos will probably outcompete them, especially if they're in, because with Pyridina, even the tigers, they say that you can keep them in Neo conditions, but breeders who seriously breed them, for the most part, as far as I'm aware of, they have them on buffering substrate and RODI water, kept that. Because technically my fancy tigers, they're genetically half, oh man, I can't even, they're half tiger shrimp and half reds, not reds, red crystal red shrimp. Oh my gosh, my brain quit working. I got too much shrimp stuff to worry about breeding different kinds of fish. I've kind of gone all the way to shrimp. With all the plants, moss, and such, you can, yeah, I could easily breed them, but I don't want the grown-ups eating a shrimp. Yeah, shrimp keep me busy. Now, I think something I would like to do if I had the space in the tanks, and I'd like to get serious about plecos and the higher end bristlenose plecos and having fun with that, because I really do enjoy those, the bristlenose plecos and plecos in general. But they take so much space, water changes. You can breed them in shrimp tanks, but I feel like you're better off with shrimp. I breed shrimp for a living. So the number one goal is a shrimp. I don't want to do anything that's going to mess with that. Just to try to do shrimp. What do you think about ocean blues? I love them. They're in this tank right here. There's one right there on the glass. I got 50 of them now. A lot of the adults have died off, but they're doing good. They're breeding out, though. There's probably over 100 babies in there. Funny how I've managed to successfully breed Pyridina and Seleuci, but been struggling to get my golden-back Neos breeding. A lot of people will tell you that yellows can be difficult. I had a yellow line going for years when I first started, and it did awesome. And they didn't die. They just started fading off. They just quit breeding completely. It's like they hit some kind of genetic wall. Yellows might be more inbred than other lines, maybe, because I've had all my lines. I started 10 to 20 shrimp, other than these where I got 50, the blue ocean. And I've never had another line do that, just quit breeding like those yellows. So then I got more yellows. And a lot of people tell you yellows, some people say they die off. Mine never died off. They just quit breeding. And then there's a handful of them left, and I just started throwing some other shrimp in there as calls. And then as soon as I put the other shrimp in there, the yellows, females that were in there started getting buried. And they hadn't been buried in like a year with the yellow males. As soon as they got around to different males, they started getting buried. Let's see. How much are yours? How much are what a piece? Everything's on my website, markshellyaquatics.com. Most of them the lines are $3 to $5 a piece. Blue Dreams stay true more than the ocean blue, eh? They're pretty similar. I think it's just a new name they picked out. It depends where you got the ocean blues from, too. How far away are they from high grades? Because a lot of people get the newest and greatest thing, just breed them out, don't call them or nothing. Ship them out as fast as they breed out, and they ship out whatever breeds out. So that might be part of the issue with, because I think of all the, I've probably got about 50 to 100 babies in there, and they all look pretty good, except for maybe like one or two look kind of really looking. So they're pretty good. Do blue dreams stay more true than ocean blue? Probably not. Probably not. I'm just starting with ocean blues, and it depends where you got them from. Depends where you get any line from, really. But there are colors overall that are more difficult. Like greens, no matter where you get them, are going to be hard. Let's see. My blue dream from Mark are staying true. Yeah, he's had a bunch of them for a while. Have you tried to breed Neos to get a totally different color? Purple. Not purple, but you've seen all my, I've done lots of relay lines that I'm creating. When you mixed in other males, did the buried females still produce golden backs? It's 50-50. Reds and yellows weren't a very good combination. There were a lot of wilds. They made a lot of wilds. But there's still some yellow ones. I mean, there still will be, but you don't want to mix them, at least with the red. Yeah, I don't know if yellows you want to mix with anything, because I was putting, years and years ago, I had a tank where I was putting yellow calls and I forget what else. But all the shrimp that tank ever made was just like clear. They weren't brown. They were just clear. Now when I mixed yellows with reds, it made a lot of brown shrimp. I had a pinkish purple one once, but he's gone. Yeah, you can get all kinds of those things, and I get some that look purple sometimes in Bloody Marys. But yeah. Purple is, a lot of people chase it, and I don't think anyone's ever successfully recreated it. Now we gotta, well, dump this down here so we can get the water to where we need it to be. I don't really want to smash the crypt that much. There we go. Hopefully, almost down low enough to where we can do the first sponge. I just found a blue really in my skills tank. Do you think we would ever get a true? There's lots of blue reallys. There's the blue carbon reallys. Are you talking about like blue, clear blue? Or are you talking about like black, blue, black? Yeah. I love these crypts, but the sad thing is with this tank, I don't think I'm gonna keep the 29 gallon as a guppy tank, but I don't think I'm gonna put that much more time and effort into guppies. People just ain't interested in buying guppies off me. So this is my own guppy line I created. I love them. So I think this tank eventually will be another big shrimp tank. In fact, it might be an ocean blue tank. So I'm not sure. Blue clear, though, the blue clear blue ones, those are super cool and super rare. I've only seen a handful of those of all the shrimp I've seen. So that's a cool shrimp. That's a really, really rare one too, the blue clear blue. I've only seen a couple of them. Those are awesome. Yeah, I didn't think. Yeah, purple shrimp's gonna be tough. Now there's purple caradinas, like purple metallic type. but I don't know if there's a such. I mean, they do exist because obviously I've had some crazy one-off shrimp pop up over the years, but having one. So your lights are all white with no reds, greens, colors. They're just 6500K shop lights and floodlights. I do have some actual aquarium lights that have the multi-color thing, but no, most of my lights are just shop lights, LED shop lights, and it's the daylight color, 6500 Kelvin is a daylight color. That makes, let's see, the secret to big plants. I've already, see, that's the thing, man. All these things you can do, I've already made 100 videos on each thing. I feel like the cycle is new people come along. They ask the same questions as the last people that come along. So I make the same videos. 6 months, a year passes. Same thing over and over and over. Cycle, cycle, cycle. I also have a couple completely clear ones dropped from my blue jelly red really tank. I usually put them in my Skittles tank, but now I'm wondering if they would be worth breeding. Yeah, you guess there's a handful. I like to call them, they kind of went really, and there's not much red on them. You get some of those, like I'll have some, there'll be a couple of them that are fully clear, but usually there'll be one, they'll have at least a dot of red on their head or something in my jelly red mixed tank. What do you mean by that? Violet, make the same mistakes, never learn with the lights. Am I bored with the hobby? No. There's certain parts of this that I do that I enjoy more than others. But when I start talking about making my own lines and stuff and the stuff that I do for fun, yeah. Parasites in your neos. Years ago, probably like 3 years ago, I found Scooterella, and that was after not adding any shrimp for years. I had a couple tanks, so I found like 2 shrimp of Scooterella. So I treated all my tanks with, I used Prozzy Pro, and that nuked most of it, but it wasn't quite enough. So then I did fenbendazole treatments on all my tanks, and let me tell you, that's a pain in the butt, and that's expensive. When you're doing fenbendazole treatments for like 1,300 gallons of water. So those are the only parasites I've ever had. Scooterella. All right, we got a sponge to do. So let's see if I can get that on there. Is it going to be? The sponge is in this corner. So I will be back. Well, I got to take this apart. Couple rocks on here. Oh yeah, this will be fun. Tell you the truth, guys, this filter has not been cleaned in probably a year. Oh yeah. Feels like a 10-pound brick of fish poop. All right, we got that one. Yeah, I guess I'll go ahead and rinse it off. I'll be right back. One down, 2 more to go. Let's see. So which moss do you guys... I only have one moss, so that's an easy choice. Let's see. Do you leave Hydra? I've never had Hydra or treat for it. Was told to use no planaria, but I really didn't want to add anything I didn't need to. Yeah, planaria is something you really need to get rid of. The fenbendazole treatment I talk about in one of my Scooterella videos. It works too for that. Have you watched Shrimp? Yep, I have watched Shrimp Will Explain video about Scooterella. He says it may be beneficial for shrimp. I'm dealing with it in a couple of tanks and couldn't get rid of it with salt dips. Yeah, they can get in, they lay their eggs in the gills of the shrimp. And the salt dip, I don't think the salt dip kills the eggs. No, planaria is great for Hydra. Usually they only need, yeah, I've never had Hydra, but I've heard Hydra is pretty easy to get rid of on the grand scheme of things. Yeah, like the same stuff that works for all that works for the planaria, the Scooterella, the Hydra. What is your favorite shrimp food, Mark? My own shrimp food. Let me show you. This is the same exact stuff I sell in 2-ounce bags. Except I make like 13 pounds at a time usually, and keep about 3 for myself, 3 or 4. Bag up the rest. They all come from the exact same batch. I've ordered almost every color of shrimp Mark sells. I've also ordered from other well-known people online. Yeah, there's lots of people. Mark's by far the best quality and most prolific. Thank you. Oh, yeah, yeah. I've got videos going back years to show exactly how I make it and everything. And now over the years, it's just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. And then one day people was like, because I didn't start making this food to sell it. I started making this food to breed shrimp and take care of my tanks. And then you guys started saying, you should sell it. I want some. Can I get some? So then I went down the road of figuring out how to make shrimp food on scale and sell. Now, let's see. I got my laptop down here. So I can't see on my phone very good. People are talking about I pet shrimp lately. Mark, have you ever thought about a video that you've been in touch with your customers to show your original shrimp? Yeah, you know, it's one of those things where I've had videos and pictures. I get those every week almost. And I even was going to do it. I even started doing it. But the problem is, you know, to upload to YouTube, I don't want to be like, your shrimp are awesome, but you know, you got to have pretty, even for me, I still take up my videos in 4K and 30 frames per second. And then, you know, a lot of people getting quality video is it's hard for me. I know how hard it is. And like people with like $3,000 cameras, you're like, oh my God, how'd you get that? Well, most people are just shooting with their phone. All right, let me see what we got here. The one guy was asking, what's the best shrimp from you that, well, that's a hard question. I would say reds are always going to be red. You're not going to get any oddball, weird things. Reds are always red, but the quality on the males is so variable. The females are almost all really good. And then let's see, I'd say Bloody Marys, you can get some weird things every once in a while, but you get more higher grade shrimp more often, even the males. So, and then blues, there's always some different. Blues are pretty, I've worked a long time to get my blues to how they are, but there's always a little spotchiness in a lot of the blues. It's really, really hard to get a perfectly, completely pure blue shrimp, but those are pretty good. Snowballs are super easy. Blue jellies are pretty easy as far as calling. Let's see. Yeah, I plan to breed shrimp in my apartment. Would like to understand when to move babies or move adults. As well, they're just kept in a colony. I'm not moving them here or there or anything. They grow up in the tank they were raised in, and I got another filter to clear out here. Oh man, I'll be right back. In fact, I bet you guys can still hear me in the sink. I guess I should be careful because my Bluetooth mic is probably still connected. I shouldn't yell and cuss at the dog about something, should I? All right. And I do believe we can get this last one. So I'm going to pop this guy off. Why is this bottom one being so hard? Yeah. Look at this. Crypt growing into the sponge. The roots have used the sponge as a substrate. That's interesting. So now I can put one of the clean ones in there. Put the other clean one in there. And I'll rinse this third one off and I'll be right back. So while that last sponge is rinsing off, I'm going to go ahead get this guy unplugged. Quick connect right here. Easy peasy. Quick connect. Easy peasy. Put that right here. I'll go get that sponge. Holy crap, that bottom sponge was like a brick of poop. All right, we got that. Everything's ready. Oh, don't want to forget the safe. Safe. Got that. So let's start filling her up. All right, let's see what I missed. Let's see. You have a Facebook page? Sand? Name. So when this water level gets high enough, this filter is going to start gushing. Because this is like an 1,100 gallon an hour pump on this tank. And it's been clogged up. So this thing is going on. Well, I do have it. I think it's valved down pretty good. So it don't go too crazy. Let's see. All right. So I guess we're watching the tank fill back up. Yeah, that is coming out way too fast. Valve that down some. I'm glad I put that valve on that. Because that pump is way too much. All right. Now that's a big water change. So you guys can see anything there. I can't even see what the screen's looking at. It's a lot of fish. Like 5 gallons of water there for a minute. Yeah, we kept the heater under the water line, so we ain't gonna blow up the heater. So that's good. That water gushing out there, that's valve down. Alright. I can get this on here, right? Plain water. How much a cherry shrimp over there? Well, for lines, I charge $3 to $5 a shrimp, and then I sell like whole packs, Skittles packs, whatever you want to call them. 20 shrimp for $40. I know your prices in Australia are probably really crazy. When doing a water change, how do you make sure temperature is close to that of the tank? Yep, just by feel. I've been doing this a long time. So let's see. And the water going in might be a degree or two cooler, but if you're going to be off a little bit, you're better off to be off cooler than warmer, because think about it, nature, it rains, and rain is usually cool. So I think getting a degree or two or even 3 or 4 cooler is not going to be the end of the world. They're used to that. Now, if you go, there's times where when I'm in the middle of it, and like when I get to the end of when I do all my water changes all at the same time, when I get down to the end, sometimes the hot water heater will be running out of hot water, and I'll have to up the hot water. I'll look, and the shrimp will kind of be, they're not. You can just kind of see if something's not right when you're putting in the water. If the shrimp will tell you, then I'll fill the water. Oh, got a little cold. So then I'll walk over to the sink and bump the hot up just a hair. Simple as that. For a low grade, they are 10 ahead. Man, I need to set up shop in Australia. So I gotta scroll down here. Yeah, everything in Australia is crazy expensive. I think it's because they're really strict on what they're allowed to bring in. I think, is that not? Like, you don't have imports coming in all the time from Asia. They're really strict. I don't know. I'm just asking. What I think. Let's see. 18 watching? Wow. Wow. Oh, we are filling this guy up. That water is a flowing. Now the water going in is digging a hole right here. That. All right. So another thing is, I can't believe you caught me off guard when your live stream popped up. Just by chance, I caught it. Oh, Glad to have you, Viola. I always look forward to seeing your comments and talking to you. Viola's been here since the very, very, very beginning. But I can't believe here in a couple weeks it's going to be time to start thinking about setting up the outside stuff again. I'm really looking forward to that. Now, the big in-ground one, I don't know if I want to do guppies in it this year. I don't know if guppies are worth it for me to keep breeding hundreds and hundreds of them anymore. Because, heck, I got like 3 customers who sell more of my own guppies than I do to their local fish stores. I'll see if there's any. I don't really do a whole lot of local stuff. It's all just online at the website and stuff. So I don't know. I might have to see. Because honestly, right now, with shrimp, they're good. If there's a few day delay with the mail's so slow anymore. It's like 1 week everything will get there on time. Next week everything will be like 3 days late. Shrimp, not a big deal. With guppies, they really need to get there in 3 or 4 days. If it takes them almost a week with fish, it's probably not going to be the best results. Unless it's like cool but not too cold. If it starts getting hot, it's like the mail's been causing me a lot of stress lately. And most of the time they end up being all right. The only time the males caused dead shrimp this winter is when it's going somewhere cold. They're stuck somewhere where it's really cold and it takes longer than a week because I can get the heat packs to last about a week. But then after that, if they're exposed to really cold temps after that week, it's usually not a good time. And mind you, they're supposed to be there in 3 days. So a week should be more than enough time. But here lately with the mail, there's been more than a couple times that haven't been. Do egg scattering fish outside, rockfish. You know, I've wanted to do White Cloud Mountain minnows, but north side of Indy has a great place called the Reef. I know it's a little bit of a drive for you, but maybe they'd have some. Yeah, yeah. I am actually only about 40 minutes from the north side of Indy, if that. I can get to 465 in about 35 minutes from where I'm at. I'm like 30 miles north of the, well, yeah. Your rice fish do good outside. I thought about that, but we get pretty cold. I mean, unless I do something about it, the pond freezes solid, and it costs lots of money to keep it heated enough. Last year, I put a greenhouse cover over it, and it kept it from freezing, but it was still water temps were like in the low 30s, just barely above freezing, like 32.8. It never did freeze, but it it got right down a couple tenths of a degree below 33, but it never did freeze. And I gotta make sure I pay attention to this so I'm not overflowing the tank on video. Wouldn't that be awesome if I live streamed that? I might text you some mermaid weed. Yeah, I'm in the middle of, I redid all my mermaid weed. So I'm in the middle of letting it grow back out right now. Yeah, breed the egg scatters. See, that's the thing. And I don't have so many tanks and space in the house. And if I put anything in the house, it's going to be for shrimp for my business. You know, I'm a shrimp nerd. I've gone all the way to the shrimp side. Almost, except for these guppies, and they're not even really worth it for me anymore to dedicate a whole 75-gallon tank. I sure do enjoy it. It's one of the tanks I enjoy the most personally, but when you're doing this and paying your bills and feeding yourself, sometimes you gotta, all right, I love this tank, but is it doing what it needs to do to pay for itself? When you start looking at it as a business, it changes the perspective and the fun of it on some things a lot, because if I was just doing it for fun, I'd have tanks full of guppies probably. I'd still have, it'd be 50-50 guppies and shrimp, but I love guppies. I've had guppies since I was 7 years old. I've had shrimp for like 8 years, and I'm old. Let's see. Is mermaid weed like guppy grass? It is. Oh, I wish I could show you, but I can't really move the camera. It's a stem plant, but it's not like mermaid weed. It's a thick, hardy stem plant. Are you working outside the house still, or are you retired? I ain't retired, but this is what I do. Selling stuff on the website is my only form of making a living these days. This is all I do. People tell me, well, thank you for your response time. I appreciate it. It's like, well, this is what I do. I'm on top of it. I always have my phone with me. I'm answering emails as they come in as soon as I can. I'm always here doing the best I can. It's like I've gotten big enough to where I can dedicate the time to do it. I've not gotten to the point where I'm overwhelmed and hiring people. And when you deal with me, you're dealing with only me. So I can dedicate a lot of time to helping people out. Getting full. We're about there. This is going to end up working out pretty good. Actually, let's see. The job I had, I told him I wasn't going to do it anymore in June of 22. So this is all I've done since June of 22. Yeah, it's funny when you do what you dreamed of doing and you still get things that annoy you. And it's like the new, oh my God, this is making me mad, is so much less dramatic than what it used to be. Now my biggest problem is the mail being delayed. And I don't want it. Most of my customers are awesome, awesome, awesome. I very rarely have any issues. But then you have some people, no matter what you do, they're just trying to get something for free out of you. Those are the unfortunate people. Let's see here. I once got blamed because the mail was delayed, and that lady's package was delayed one day, and it was my fault, and it was supposed to get there on her birthday. She ordered it just for her birthday, and because I messed up, the mail was late. She didn't get her shrimp on her birthday, and it was ridiculous, and she wanted her money back. And she's going to report me to the authorities, my local government, everything. That's one of the most unpleasant people I've ever dealt with. My red cherries drop a yellow from time to time. I separate them to see if they drop more yellow. Will that work? It could, if you pull out the yellow ones. What that tells me is your reds were with some yellows at one point. So you have a little bit of yellow in with your reds. My reds have never thrown anything but reds. Now, the degree of grade varies wildly, especially with the males. And like a lot of people say they have reds, but then like the guy earlier saying he had blacks and browns coming from reds. That is probably because you don't have reds. You probably have Bloody Mary genetics. Getting close. I got to think about standing up. Going to shut the water off. I have to figure out where I'm going to stick this plant. I guess I'll just stuff it down in there. It'll grow back into the filter. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Going up. See, how far was I off? Yeah, I said a few degrees colder. Let me show you this. You know, the current, this has a heat controller on it. It's set at 77 and now it is 74.5. So just a little bit cooler than it was before, and that's not that big of a deal. Because in nature it rains and cools everything down by a few degrees. Almost full. Getting there. All right, shut her off. All right, got that done. Shrimply Canadian, Andy's in here. How you doing, man? Let's see. Yeah, that lady sounds awful. Like I said, there's probably been like, I've been doing this for quite a while. Probably only like 4 people that stick out in mind, and I remember them. So I think I've had like 2,200 customers, different unique customers, and over the years, some people ordered over a dozen times, and there's like 4 that stick out in here. I'll remember those. Them, you know what? Let's see. The nearest place that sells shrimp is 145 miles from me. I try to order online, but most are dodgy. So I'm learning from you and trying to make my own. Yeah, that's not always so easy. I mean, you can only get what you can get, though. Luckily, here in the U.S., there's lots of always start off with the best you can find. Let's see here. Hey, Mark, hope things are going well for you. I've been propagating some of your moss in plastic tubs on window screen mesh. Let you know how that goes. I bet it goes good. Yeah, let me know. Now, I've thought about doing all kinds of things with this moss. Like, I've seen there's people that attach it to sticks and call them moss trees. I thought about getting a bunch of driftwood and attaching it to it. Because this moss, pile of moss, it'll attach to anything. Like, I've had it, like, it'll literally attach itself to the glass. I mean, if it'll attach to freaking bare glass, it'll attach to about anything. All right, is there Oh, wow, we're up to 25. Cool, cool. Man, pretty cool. So if you see me looking down here, like, what is this idiot looking at? I'm sitting on the floor. I got a laptop right here in front of me, and I got a tripod that you're sitting on. And if you're new, didn't see the beginning, I tried to do landscape so that you could see the tank I've been trying to do. And I was sitting over here, and you could see the tank. I spent all half the morning getting all this prepared, and then I set it up, and I cannot figure out how to get it to go back to landscape. It wants to be vertical. I've sold Java Moss stuck to a bit of grapevine. Yeah, for $65. Yeah. Mark, your shrimp breeding food is incredible. I've been feeding it to my shrimp and fish. They go absolutely crazy. My bamboo and vampire shrimp. Oh, I thought that food would be really good for the fan guys, the bamboo and vampire shrimps. Glad to hear it really is doing good. You could tie moss to 3-inch PVC pipe pieces and do updates over the course of, yeah. I got my blue part yellow Neo shrimp in their own tank. They actually made, I got to get my glasses, guys. Sorry. Part about getting old. My eye doctor, the thing that I talk to my eye doctor about is sometimes I see fine, sometimes I can't see a thing. And I started off seeing fine on this, and now I can't see a thing. Yeah. Any Canadians here? Yeah. Andy is, I shipped Andy some shrimp to sell to my Canadian friends. So if you got any, you're in Canada and interested in the shrimp, I've even done test shipments to some of you guys in Canada. But let me tell you, that is a pain in the butt. That's not easy to do. And it's expensive. So I sent Andy a whole bunch. He's going to sell them on his Shrimply Canadian Etsy store. Half a tennis ball. Yeah. Heck, there's places that sell moss for outrageous prices. I mean, these little 1x1 mesh things for like $10, $12. Like, come on, man. When I send people moss, like, oh my God, thank you. That's the generous portion. That's so much. Of course, not all moss is the same. Some grow slow. Some, they can't believe how much moss they get. Oh yeah, there's the promo code. Andy has the promo code for my food on his Etsy store. 15% off. Yep. Americans can buy it from me. I sent that to, well, they can get it off him too. They can get it off the Shrimply Canadian store too. Loved your analogy of rain coming down regarding temperature of water changes. I've been erring on the side of a bit warm, but now I have to change that. Yeah. That's always been my thought process is, every time it rains, it usually gets cooler. And, I've been swimming on lakes and hot summer day, you're out there swimming and the water's nice and warm. And then the sky opens up, it gets down in the 60s and it just cuts loose and storms. You're sitting there under the shelter, then the sun comes back out, you go back out there to go swimming again. Like, oh, it's cold now. Instantly. All those fishies that live out there, they're dealing with it. I mean, you don't want too cold, but, Well, guys, we are over an hour now. And so I think I'm going to end it here. And Every time I do one, I say I'm going to start doing them again. I always feel like they go reasonably well. I don't know why. It's like I feel better about them now after doing this one. I've been telling myself I was going to do this, I was going to do this, I was going to do this. I just never actually got around to it. So I did. I've been planning to do this on a live stream for like a month. I've been waiting to do this forever, just for this live stream. So I'm going to get off here, and I thank you guys for watching. Shrimpologist, always nice to hear from you, Mark. Hoping for more videos in the future. You're the Neo Master. I appreciate it, and thank you for watching and making me feel good about myself. I don't claim to be a master of nothing. It's just hard work and dedication and being too dumb to quit. All right, everybody. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.